Supercat NO. What? 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 What?
Good evening, sports fans. This is another Tuesday evening with MossBurgh. WTP Sports Dudes coming at you with Level Up Sports 10. And I'm here this evening and blessed to have Gabby Mitchell of Solon, Ohio, and just talk to the people a little bit about you being from Solon and just that journey from Solon to Akron. First off, I want to thank you for joining us this evening again. And just from the time of meeting you when I was at work and just being able to have this interview and just bring the best out of what we do here for Level Up Sport and WTP Sports Dudes. It's just great to have you. So the floor is
Yeah.
yours, and I just want to tell the people a little bit about yourself as well.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I love opportunity to give back anytime that I can and spread some knowledge to people. Sorry if you see a little curly guy. I got a dog and he needs a little bit of love too. So I'm Gabby Mitchell. I'm from Solon, Ohio. Former Division I point guard at the University of Akron. Um, I went to Solon High School. I just graduated with my master's in medical physiology from Case Western. So my bachelor's is in exercise science. I've done a little bit of everything. You name it, I've probably done it. And right now I'm in the process of applying to medical school. So I would say during grad school, I bartended. I volunteered with the Alzheimer's Association on the DEI board. Um, I coached high school basketball for a little bit. I worked with our youth team. You name it, I've probably done it. So I like to say I'm a jack of all trades, but
It's great.
really thankful that you have me here.
I appreciate just hearing a little more into your story as we have Fan Doze, part of the podcast group. He said the dog is great. He's seen the dog and he said the dog is great as well. Appreciate you joining as well, Fan Doze, as well as WTP Sports News and anyone else out there. And the interesting thing is, you said that you were a D1 point guard, but to graduate with your master's in physiology, with in science physiology, your journey and path. If you could give us a little
Yeah.
background of your growing up, what brought you into basketball and keeping that motivation to stay into the pre-physical science and physiology and those things to just continue to push.
Yeah. So I grew up Solon, Ohio, if you know where that is, outside of Cleveland, suburb. Um, I grew up with my mom and my three siblings. Two siblings, sorry. I had a
Nah,
school.
you're okay.
My mom played basketball, but I was in softball was one of my first sports. I got into basketball a little bit later. I played volleyball, ran track, did a little bit, but then basketball began to take over. And yeah, I think the light really didn't turn on with sports probably until I wouldn't say my sophomore year freshman turning sophomore year that if you really put in the work, you can be where you want to be in some of the levels of exposure that I had. So that's kind of where it was. I played against some of the top girls in the country. Columbus was a very, very, very crucial part of basketball. I played with so many good girls from Ohio, if you know. Jordan Horton, I played with her Columbus finest. JC Sheldon, I played against her. Kirsten Bell. There's a lot of really, really good talent in Ohio, but I will say basketball is just so much different than what
Yeah,
it onto my academic. Solon's a very, very rigorous academic school, very competitive, so competitive to the point we don't have valedictorians.
yeah,
It's that
sweet.
competitive. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was on National Honor Society, many different boards, and academics was always first. I mean, I was a true student athlete at the end of the day. So I always prioritize my education because I mean you can always be um, an athlete, but your education will be first. So I love exercising. Oh yeah, it definitely is in the water in Ohio. Yeah. uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I loved exercising, and I always wanted to be a doctor. I didn't know what type. I wanted to, help people. And I would say my furthering, how I got into that, and more so what I thought, came a little bit more into college. When I went to college, I automatically knew I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to major biology because that's what everybody thinks when you are an undergrad. You think that you're going to be a biology major, but the case is you can major in musical theater and still go to medical school as long as you have those prerequisites that you need. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So physiology came after. I needed a little bit more support, a little bit more experience, a little bit more time to strengthen my application, which I thought was great. Case is a really, really good school in Northeast Ohio. Private school known for scientific research and excellence. So just by saying that I go to Case, I had plenty of opportunities open. And what's it called? Is basketball not my favorite sport? I think basketball was my favorite sport growing up. I also think my relationship with the game changed, which you can ask further questions, but yeah, let me know if there's anything that I
And
didn't cover. What
and
else?
as you were speaking, and appreciate those comments as well, Fandor. And when he said they say it's in the water, you spoke of Jordan Hornston, you spoke of Sheldon, you're talking about some primetime major players in Tennessee, Ohio State, and a
Hmm.
few of the other players. And Hornston was one of those players myself, being a former athlete. I watched over at Afrocentric and just watched her, level up in the game and just continue to play. And it's just shout out to you and what you do and played the game of basketball and still being a jack of all trades and finding your way continuously and graduating from Case Western and just being able to notice those women and appreciate what they did as well in the game because it takes a great one to know one as well. And for me,
Yeah,
seeing some of your highlights, you were quite the shooter and you were quite the defender. And you played on one of the winningest teams as a
yeah,
freshman, I do believe. And how
yeah.
how was that for you as a freshman coming in?
In Akron or in Solon? Because Solon, our team was pretty good as well. I guess I can go a
Yeah,
little bit of both because my Solon career translated. So actually, funny thing, I played AU with Jordan Horston, so I was able to firsthand see some of the development and the growth. And our whole entire team was Division 1, pretty much our whole AU team. So we played in the EYBL circuit, so that was pretty cool. Um, I'll say it's Solon. I just learned a lot. My first year, you're a freshman. I'd been with the program probably since sixth grade. You know how you have summer league. Like we got thrown into summer league at sixth grade, just playing, and I think that honestly helped. I feel bad because I can't really remember that much because there's been so much basketball played since then. But it
no,
was
it's okay. It's okay.
great experience, I think, as well. So I think my talents and the characteristics that I took into Solon translated well over into Akron. And my freshman year, I would say, hands down, one of my favorite years at Akron. As a freshman, I feel like you're coming in, you need to learn so much. You have to adjust to the shot clock. But luckily, with the
Yeah,
EYBL, we played. There were a couple tournaments you played with the shot clock, so that helps you. It was 35 seconds instead of 30, but you really come to compete, and I just had fun. And
yeah,
then
definitely 3 times. Yeah.
yeah.
So 3-time defensive player of the year. I'm gonna talk my smack a little bit. Ranked first in charges taken, and fifth
Yeah.
in 3 pointers made. And Fandor Zay actually also had a question, and he said, "What basketball player, man or woman, motivated you the most growing up?"
Um, I think I saw the light turn on when I saw Kelsey Mitchell when I was in the eighth grade at the shot, and I think she broke the record in scoring, and she won a state championship. I saw her do that at the shot, and I was like, I will win a state championship. I will be on the stage. I want to be the person before the game when they ask the questions and
Yeah,
respect the game, and that's when I knew like I wanted to do exactly what she was doing. She also played in my AAU club as well, so it was cool that we got to meet her while she was at Ohio State and like Alexa Hart. So they had some really good people on their team as well as some other good players. So I knew from that moment I saw Kelsey Mitchell in her light and just her flavor for the game, and she was really dope.
Yeah,
But I
sweet.
would say overall, I really didn't have that many people that I looked up to. I just like the game of basketball. I just like to work. I was a competitor, and I'm one of those people. I don't talk. I'm not a talker. I'm gonna put my head down and
You
work.
know,
Yeah, but I once once I get to that point, then okay. I
we'll
also feel
talk a
like
little
I'm a
bit.
little older now, so I think my mouth is a little more, I'm more confident in who I am, so I'm definitely gonna say whatever I need to say now compared to how I
Makes
was
sense.
then. But
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. And FanDuel Zay also, we got a couple questions coming. He had a question. He said, when you say your relationship changed with the game, he said, can you tap in a little bit more of what you were meaning when you said that?
yeah, I think that you have to understand that at the end of the day, college basketball is a business. So, I mean, your coach still has family. They still have people at home they need to feed. Like, they're going to put what they need to do in the best interest of them. And you have to realize, okay, this is not high school anymore. You're still around some of the best people across the world or across the country. Ours, in our case, we like to recruit local pretty much. But still, like, you have to compete. So, it's not just going to be a linear process. It's not going to be just what you think it's going to be. So, you, there was a coach that they told me like it's gonna change when college basketball, and the adjustment is you're in class, you're in practice, we're in shoot around. Oh, we have an off day, but we have volunteering the next day. We might have to go work out. You have all these, I call it hidden curriculums that are unspoken of, but it's doing so.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, I slept a lot my freshman year. I slept.
And another question we had also was from WTP Sports Dudes. Appreciate you tuning in as well. And he said, how important was it to you to be a two-way player, play offense and
Yeah.
defense?
Um, Initially, it wasn't that important to me, quite honestly. When they say playing defense will get you on the floor, like I knew I was quick, I knew I was fast, and I just had to be confident in being able to guard. And once you be able to guard, and I feel like you can defend, you can play. You might not have to score 20. You might not
Yeah.
have to score 20. Your role might just be to come in and play defense. And then as soon as you got comfortable and I got more comfortable, then that's when my game started to expand. Because I can get steals, I can take charges, but those are still crucial moments and they're game winning plays and you're still making impact. So then once I started to continue to work, I started getting in the gym. Then I started shooting. Then I started shooting. I shot so much to the point where I gave myself bicep tendonitis and I still have it. Yeah, I would
Wow.
get on all the time before school. And
Wow.
that's when I become a two-way player. It's probably more so my sophomore into my junior year ish. But I value defense.
And
Like
when
in
you
my, if you play defense, you can get on the floor. Absolutely.
to get on the floor. Definitely. And when you speak about, myself thinking of this sophomore to junior year, that was when a lot in the game myself changed for me. I can remember shooting a lot in the summer, knowing that if you, like you said, you play defense, it gets you on the court. And if you're a scorer or if you could shoot the ball, that's kudos for you. That's more shots that you could take, and it just adjusts you to the game in a different way. So
No.
definitely, and totally agree with you on that one. And Fandor Zay had another question as well. And he said, this has been a running question in a circle for a while. We talk about it as well. Do you think AAU helped or hurt you develop your game?
I think it was okay. There's like a three-way answer. So I think that it helped. Now I think that AU now I think basketball in general is way different than I would say. Like I feel like 2019 is when it started to shift after everything after COVID. It wasn't right. Something just wasn't right. So I think that it helped because we're still playing in the circuit. We're still some of the top girls in the league. So it did help in a sense. Now, it wouldn't help if you weren't playing as much, which I don't remember that. I mean, I played AU, but I don't think I played super like crazy minutes, still a role player, but still significant enough to. I mean, you're playing against girls bigger, stronger, faster. These are really well now it's power four, really power four girls, girls that are going to the top of the top colleges. So I think that it did help in a sense of playing, but you still have to put in the work. So it doesn't matter. So you can still develop and still play and learn from it. AAU's a little bit different.
And another good question was, what inspired you to get an education in the STEM field? And that's coming from WTP Sports Dudes, who has been at the Windsor STEM Academy, which I grew up and went to school at. And he's been there for multiple years, as well as FanDuel Zay. They're both there, and that's a big thing that within discussions that's talked about, I'm sure, in meetings that he have. So, what inspired you to get education in that STEM field?
Um, I don't know. I feel like one of my moms, this is probably like a corny story. This is how it started. One of my mom's friends, she bought me like a little doctor kit and we were in Marshall's. She's like, if I buy you this kit, you have to become a doctor. But it's always been something that's been in my head. We had a family member who had a stroke, and I actually was witnessing that. And I just started to, I really like psych. I really like science, and then I figured out I didn't like biology once I got to college because that was my major. And I was like, I mean, I like science, I like sports, so I switched to sports medicine. I learned a little bit more about how to treat the body. Some of the same things that you do, how to take care of your body. Like I was the queen of, I would be in the cold tub, I would be getting needled, dry needled, boots, you name it, I did it, cupping, I was doing all of it. I don't like to be sore and I love to take care of my body. And that's a crucial part of recovery and just being dedicated to your sport. So I also think there's a big sense of health inequity. So that's another big reason that I like. It's, you can't use the diversity word anymore, but just being able to provide equitable healthcare is extremely important to population. That's one of my biggest missions right now is how can everyone get access to healthcare? How can we make sure that, African Americans, they always say we have a higher pain tolerance, and how do we fix some of these narratives in medicine? And that's kind of been one of the big things that I've been into lately.
Yeah, we applaud you for that, and I think if we really take heed to what you just said, I think if we take care of our bodies, and FanDuel Zay, he said, Moss, she can help you with your knees. I was going to say, please do text me some things. I'm sure we spoke about,
Yeah.
and what I'm going through as far as in a year ago with my knee, and I'm actually preparing for a game this weekend at 3 p.m. So just thinking of that, what would you give us your thoughts on Neil? We know how much of an effect you want to have with just the physical side. So give us your thoughts on Neil, because I think a lot of people really don't understand it if they haven't been an athlete. But if they're an athlete now, what are some of the things you would say if someone could ask you your thoughts as a former athlete myself? But I'm speaking to you as if I'm a D1 5-star coming in today for
Yeah.
Akron Tips, your alma mater.
Yeah. Me and Jess have this conversation all the time because one of my friends' brothers was going through this. And um, we always just say you need to go where you're wanted. It doesn't matter the amount of money. It doesn't matter because all of that will come. You need to go where you're going to play because inevitably you want to play and you want to try to get to the next level. Whether that be NBA, it could be the G League, it could be CFL, NFL. You want to go somewhere where you can make an impact. Now the thing is now with NIL, kids are getting crazy money. So it was very cool to see the difference. Okay, we have a visitor. It was very cool to
Doggy,
see the
doggy.
difference. Um, in the transition of from 2018 to 2022 because that's when it started getting passed. So being able to understand, you want to go and play. Somebody might offer you $150,000 and you could be almost the ball boy. You're gonna be sitting
Yeah.
there and not play at all. So okay,
Yeah.
somebody might offer you 50. Let's say someone offers you 50, and you end up playing, because guess what? You end up playing. You could, what a lot of people do. They'll play for a year. You go transfer. You might take that 50, and you might make 200K the next year or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
depends.
So I totally agree. I think you got to go where they want you, because I think that shows loyalty within both of you. You know, the university as well as yourself. This is something we talk about a lot, and it's just something how the whole sports world has changed when it comes to basically paying someone so much, not knowing what the future holds for them or what they're going to do. But it's just a great point. I did an interview with Jess, and he spoke the same way. You know, he had some of the same exact opinions, and I agree with him the same way I'm going to agree with you. And I definitely feel that they should go where they're wanted. Show that loyalty, because I think you can only go up. You only can make more if you're doing well. You can only go up. So,
Yeah, that's like the quarterback from Tennessee. He tried to tell them, "Hey, give me $1 million," and they were like, "Okay," and they can go and find somebody else for cheaper, and then they'll play. Like, it's starting to become a point where people, they're demanding because they feel like that's their worth. And don't get me wrong, your stock can be high when you come out. You might be a 5 star, but you come in a freshman, and it's like, oh, he can't figure out his playbook. He was used to doing this. He can't get in the weight room. He's not doing his
yeah,
grade. So it's like, why would we try to give you $1 million and sit out, and we can have somebody else that will come in and
agree.
just want to play?
Totally agree. Totally agree. And Fan Dorsey, I think he agreed
Yeah,
as well. He said it's all about the Benjamins.
yeah.
Is there anything? And like I said, I greatly appreciate you. Want to give a shout out to our sponsors, real cat, Super Cat Nano, who does all of our edits and music, along with Fan Dorsey. We have KNT Eats, Mr. Kevin Bird, and he is on IG. His sister with Social Nutrition out on 3136 Hamilton Road, and the chief with his clothing brand line. And he has quite the brand selection. You can find him on TikTok as well as IG and those respective labels as you see in the scroll. And if there's a young lady that may be watching at the age of 21, because we do keep it at a certain age, that's going to college, or an athlete that's playing and haven't figured something out, what is something that you can tell them?
I think one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn, and something that people don't talk about, is you're more than just an athlete. And people say that loosely, but truly, that first year after college is very, very difficult, because you're going through, I'll just say, it's an identity crisis. You're
Yeah.
not going somewhere where, oh, that's the basketball team, they're on campus. You can be like, hey, like, I played college basketball. Like, some people, they're like, oh, that's super cool. And the world that we see it, they're going to be like, oh, they really care about that, depending on where you're at. People do care. They do like the traits, but it's kind of like, all right, well, what do I do next? So I would just make sure that you continue to know yourself and learn yourself through your sport, have hobbies outside of it. It might be a little difficult, but I think that you should truly just try to get to know yourself, and it'll be definitely a marathon and not a sprint. So you're gonna have some of the highs of the highs, you're gonna have some of the lows of the lows. You just have to think about why you started, and ultimately what's your purpose.
And as well as another question, what advice would you give a high school senior or junior who isn't sure they want to go to college?
Yeah. This is a little difficult question, because college was always something that I knew that I wanted to do due to the pathway that I thought. But what else would you want to do? Is there a trade? Because trades, people don't want to do trades anymore, but you can make a lot of money during trades. So you have to think of, what avenue would you want to pursue? Would you want to pursue a trade? Would you want to even take a community college route and then maybe transfer to a bigger institution? So, what is, you kind of have to get to the root of the problem. What is the reason why you're unsure? Are you unsure because you're not getting recruited heavily? Are you unsure because you're worried about a money thing or what that may be? And then you just have to continue to evaluate your options.
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, man, this has just been a great show, great conversation with you this evening. And again, I totally appreciate you coming out, not knowing I would see you eating, not knowing we would be able to have this conversation once again. And little doggy, we appreciate you joining the show with us as well. You're welcome anytime. Um, and we're sitting here, we're speaking not only with a young lady to a woman, we're speaking to a Solon, Ohio, into an Akron 2022 graduate to earning a 2024 master's at Case Western. We appreciate everything that you do, even on the medical side of what you still doing every day. And FanDuel's for some, let me get this comment up here. He had a comment. Okay. So when it comes to, I would say, future endeavors, as we spoke about the senior and junior, and then for those out there within itself, is there something you could say, because we know the younger generation, in my opinion, I feel can speak volumes to some of the older generation in different ways. What is something you could say to someone that may be older that's going to school with that same confusion? What can you tell them, knowing some of the past that you had to cross and some of the things that you had to go through to get to the point and cross those obstacles, even at that age?
um, I think that this is also something that I have to go through because I'm a little bit older, even though I'm 25. I'm considered older in my medical school journey because I'd be 3 years out. But if you want to do something, there's no perfect time. So if you want to do it and that's always been your dream, go do it. It doesn't matter. You still are going to be 30 years old, so why not be 30 years old doing whatever you wanted to do? And that's something that I have to check myself about, especially when I get in my head about working on my application for medical school. Hey, I took a master's program. I didn't go directly through like a lot of people did, but I ended up loving the route that I took instead. Because I was like, okay, I might be 30 years old, but why not be 30 years old and still be a doctor? Like, okay, that will be fine. It will definitely work out.
Definitely agreed. Well, if there's anything else that you would, like to say to anyone watching, anyone that helped you along this journey, whether it's mom, aunt, uncle, anyone, you have the floor. You can speak to them. You can say hi. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my mom, my godparents, god siblings, my grandparents, especially God, because there is so many different nights that I was questioning, like, do I really want to continue through this? And once you start, I'm one of those people, once I start something, if I commit to something, I can't back out. Like that's just not the type of person I am, and I'm heavy on my commitments. So because there's a point in time, of course, I wanted to quit, but I was like, I have to finish it through to say that I finished through because it's gonna get hard. It'll show your resilience and how
Yeah,
I worked so hard to get here, and then just to quit when you're that close to the finish line or the gold mine is absurd. So it might get hard, continue to push through and just make sure that you just enjoy the process throughout. It goes
yes,
by way faster than you think.
yeah,
I'm sitting
definitely do.
there and I just talk to my teammates. We're like, oh, we're getting old because we're out of college now. So you just gotta appreciate the moment, truthfully.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you want to have the teammates on, we could definitely set a stream up
Yeah,
to look at some after high school, after college basketball, life itself after. We could bring them on the show. We could set up a stream with that as well.
yeah, totally.
Again, man, I greatly appreciate you coming out this evening. That was all I had as far as my questions, kind of going through some things, and as well as the guys coming in from the group and asking a few questions within themselves. We appreciate all those tuned in this evening for Tuesday night conversation with MossBurgh. here with Gabby Mitchell, straight out of Solon, Ohio, to Akron University, where she graduated, and even to Case Western, 2024 graduate physiology. And we just appreciate again everything you do in that field. It's not an easy field, but you continue to do, and we just hope that you can be the change in what you want to do when it comes to that science and that medical side as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And if you ever need anything, please reach out. I'll try to connect with whoever I can to get you
Yes.
whatever you may need. If I don't know someone, I know someone who knows someone, and I'll be sure to help connect you and plug you with whoever you might want to talk to.
I'll greatly appreciate it as well, and I definitely will be doing that. But other than that, as we say here at WTP Sports Dudes and Level Up Sports Tens, we just throw up a little peace sign. Something simple. We hit them with the peace. You did it great. And we out this evening. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. And I will definitely be getting with you. And again, greatly appreciate you joining this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And again, peace. We out.
Uh,
Have a good one.